Welcome to the Evolve Beyond Limits podcast. I'm your host, Stacy Geisel. This podcast is dedicated to helping you create a life that sets your soul on fire. I believe that is truly possible for everybody, but you have to be willing to do a few things. You have to be willing to let go of your past conditioning. You have to be willing to break free from societal norms. And you have to be willing to get really curious about your life and how you can start to look at it differently. Each week, we will hear stories from people who have done exactly this. People who chose to disrupt the life path they were on, go against the grain, and share the lessons and perspective shifts they had to make along the way. Every episode is committed to not only inspiring you and connecting you with other amazing humans, but actually giving you the tools you need to use this information in your own life so that you continue to evolve and reconnect with your highest self. Are you ready? Let's have some fun. Welcome back to another amazing week with another amazing guest on the Evolve Beyond Limits podcast. And this week, I'm so excited to introduce you to Joelle Riding. She is an entrepreneur based in Austin, Texas. And after years of working in the restaurant industry and going through college, she decided that enough was enough and started a travel blog to pursue her passions. She's lived in Cape Town, France, Belgium, traveled South America for 3 months by herself, and backpacked Southeast Asia. After creating a personal brand from scratch, she found her calling as an entrepreneur, launched a podcast, which is How Do You Deal With, and founded Dope Magic Company, which is a design agency offering vibrant websites and marketing services. She is truly an amazing soul, and this episode is epic. We talk about, she gets very vulnerable in her journey from where she was to where she is today, and how one thing does end up leading to another, even though we may not be able to see it in the moment. She talks about the soul searching that she needed to do. And then she also talks about the fact that we are here to live a great life. And if you can dream it, you're worthy of having it. So make sure that you are dreaming bigger. I'm so pumped to introduce you to Joelle because you're going to get so much out of this episode. So thank you for being here, and let's get started. All right, Joelle, welcome to the Evolve Beyond Limits podcast. I'm so excited to bring you on today, and I just can't thank you enough for being here with us to share your light.
Oh my goodness. Hi, Stacy. I have been looking forward to this for weeks. You are literally one of my favorite people. So this is just going to be just the best.
Same girl. So I always like the listeners to get to know you a little bit better. So I have some simple questions. I've been switching them up so nobody really knows what's coming. So first one, most important, what's your favorite color?
Do you want to be my girlfriend? My favorite color is coral.
Ooh, that's like a great answer. Okay. I like coral too. That's super fun. All right. So where are you originally from, and actually where are you living now?
Yeah. So originally I am from Lexington, Kentucky, go Cats. And I am now in Austin, Texas. I moved here in February, and I am loving every single second of living here.
Oh, what's your favorite part of living there?
Oh my God. Just the amount of outdoor stuff. Everywhere you go, you can go and hike along a trail. There's just so much greenery. All the bars have outdoor patios and picnic tables, and you can just be on the water within seconds. Everyone's always just so active and outside. It's just a very cool environment to be in. And just I really appreciate the weather and how much outdoor area there is in Austin.
Okay. I have a really serious question. Is there anything scary in the water in Austin, Texas?
There is for dogs. There are quite a few lakes that have that scary algae. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's blue algae or something. It kind of popped up a couple summers ago, or maybe it's always been around, but that the algae is in the water, and if a dog will drink it, it can die almost immediately sometimes. So there are some lakes that are very much you do not take your dog there. So that's a little scary in my opinion.
That is, but what I mean is there anything that has big teeth, like an alligator, that in your guys' lakes?
No alligators.
Okay. I might move there. We'll see. Okay. So what is your favorite food?
My favorite food is wings, chicken wings for sure.
Ooh,
fuck me up with some chicken wings.
I love it. Okay. What you have done a lot of traveling. So what has been your favorite place to travel so far?
Definitely Cape Town. Cape Town will always have my heart. I got to live there for 6 months, and I think that that's like something super special, just being able to like travel within like a country, but also like have a home base. I think that's like one of the best ways to like explore. And so, yeah, being there for so long, like Cape Town is an absolute just magical city where you have mountains and beach and city and safari and vineyards and desert. And you can just experience all of it in like one day if you want to. And it's just such a unique country, unique city. And I can't wait to go back one day. It will always have my heart.
Ooh, okay. That's good. So what is one thing that is on your bucket list right now?
Ooh, one thing on my bucket list is I want to go to Nepal and double header. I want to hike to Mount Everest Base Camp before I'm 30. So I'm 26 right now. So I got a couple years, but I want to do that. And I also want to combine it with, I always forget how to say it, but it's basically like a Vipassana, I think, silent meditation retreat. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I do. I do.
Yeah. So they're all over the world and they're like completely donation based. And you can, you sit in silence for 10 days. And I think you can also do 3 days. That might be something different, like another similar thing. But when I moved to Europe, I actually had a complete mental breakdown in an airport restaurant. And the lady next to me ended up like consoling me and talking to me. And we got in this whole conversation about how she like attended one of these retreats and she was like, it changed my life. Like you should totally look into it when you're in Europe. I think there's one in Switzerland. And since she told me about that, like it's kind of been this like secret life mission of mine to like eventually do that. Cause I think that there's a lot of power in that. But I also think, I think you have to be in a certain like state to be able to handle that. Cause like you wake up at 4 a.m., you go to bed at like 10, you can't read, you can't write, you can't talk, like nothing for 10 days. And so it's definitely intense, but those are two major things that I'm trying to do in the next few years.
Yeah. So I would do that with you. Actually, I think you are the one that told me about that. I feel like maybe like start with 3 days, upgrade to 10, but hey, who knows?
Yes.
So, all right. What did you want to be when you grew up? Like when you were little?
Oh my God. I always struggled with that question. And now I realize it's because like I didn't know that entrepreneurship was a thing. Like I would never like understood when I would take those like career quizzes in school that like my answers would be all over the place. I remember thinking like I would always get the top result was a masseuse. Like I was always going to be like a massage therapist because I guess I really wanted to help people. And that was like the closest thing that existed back then on a career like quiz. So I grew up, just always like having no really idea. Like I was never someone who was like, oh, I can't wait to be a teacher one day or a nurse or a doctor. Like I didn't really know, but I did know that like, I wanted to do something different, I guess.
Oh, that's so fun. It's so fun to look back and see that and then like see where you are now. Which by the way, and for everybody's listening, she's not a massage therapist. Okay. 2 more. What is your favorite book?
Ooh, Big Magic, hands down. It's super popular, like in the entrepreneur, like creative world. If you have not read Big Magic and you consider yourself a creative person, highly, highly recommend it. It's a very quick read. Like Liz Gilbert is just an amazing writer and just so like funny and soulful. And essentially the whole book is about creative living beyond fear. So like stepping into your creativity and allowing it to unfold in the way that you're meant to do instead of like getting caught up in all your fear, getting caught up in like what society says, like, oh, artists don't make money or you can't do that. Like, really just stepping into what brings you joy. So that's definitely like my biggest recommendation to everybody.
So good. When you say Big Magic, my head goes to like a porn or is it like a sex toy? Like for some reason, it's just like, that's right where it goes. But here's what's funny about like what you just said is the creativity and like It was really funny. I was talking to my business coach the other day and I was telling her about like what I wanted to do in my business and all these different things. I was like, I just want to be like the chief visionary officer. And she was like, you're essentially like Beyonce. She's like, you want to be the artist and then you want everyone else to do everything else. And I was like, exactly. And I understand it takes time to get there, but for like big dream here. But like when you say artists don't make any money, like, hold on, there's so many different ways to be an artist. And I think that for, probably men and women, we assume that we're not that creative because we tie creativity sometimes to like, drawing and being like painting and like different things, or like what you do, like web design, but there's so many other ways to be creative. So I think that's fun. I'm going to have to check that out. Last one. What was one of your favorite things to do as a kid?
Ooh, definitely like walk in nature and like just walk with my dog, like barefoot. Like I was that kid that was always dirty, always outside, would come home when it was like starting to get dark. I just always loved, just being outdoors. And that definitely has like shown up in my adult life of like, when I need some grounding or reconnecting, like I get barefoot and I go out in nature. And it's funny how that works out, but I adored the outdoors when I was a kid.
I love it. I love it. All right. So for all of the listeners, like you're going to learn something really quick. I paid a lot of money for my friends. So so it was so funny because my podcast editor Jeremy, who's amazing, he wrote and he was like, every time I listen to your podcast, I realize that you know so many more cool people than I think I do. And I was like, so here's the thing, like when I invested like tens of thousands of dollars into group programs and masterminds, I came out with a lot more than just knowledge. Like I came out with friendships like the one that I have with Joelle here. So which I'm just like so grateful for because I have gotten to meet some of the friggin' coolest people. And I really wanted to bring you on the show because you've done it, like you're 26 and the amount of things that you have done and accomplished, like I want listeners to understand a little bit more about how that started. So I know, like, I actually don't know that much of your past story, but I do know that you did van life and we do van life, but a very different version of van life. And like, I feel like you started it before it was like super cool to do it. And so I don't know, I would love to hear a little bit more, like tell us about what were some of the lessons that you learned from that experience? And then like, where did it lead you that maybe you had no idea you were going to go?
I learned very quickly what is important to me and what is not. And I also learned that I am a creature of habit and routine. Like I used to be when I was younger, I think, like I didn't care as much. I was very much on the fly and very much like down for whatever, it's spontaneity and taking the day as it comes. And I think that like, there's that is beautiful. And I think, like you said, like balancing is definitely important. But like in van life, I did it with a partner that was very much opposite, where our routines were very different and our habits were very different. So I was somebody that really needed to like have a grounded morning or to stay in a spot for a few nights, few plays, like, and also needed like a clean space. And I realized very quickly, like these things were important to me and not so much to like the partner that I was doing it with. Like it was a very, it was hard. It was a very like, we quickly realized how, different we were in those aspects. And that led to a lot of like conflict, obviously. But I think the lesson I learned was, I used to be so nomadic. I used to travel so much. I used to like be on the fly, but like there's so much importance and like how I feel throughout the day and how I am like when I'm grounded. So like, I can be wherever, but even if I'm somewhere else, I still need to find a place or find a way to get grounded, whether that's like my morning journal, my coffee, like I have to start the day because otherwise, like, my whole day, I feel frazzled. I feel out of control. I feel just like out of my element. And that was a really, really big lesson I learned from that. And I'm grateful for it because now like it's part of my routine. Like every morning, if I don't do it, like I notice it throughout the day. And I know that that's like something that I remember thinking like, oh, I want to have a meditation practice. Oh, I wish I journaled more. And for so many like for so many people, like it might seem like so far off, like, oh my God, I can't believe you meditate every day. And it's like, girl, I've been working at this for 5 years now. Like meditation practice every single day did not come easy. Like it took me 5 years of like trial, error, starting again, stopping, starting again. Um, Getting really annoyed because I could get up to like a 30-minute meditation and then I would have to like restart because I didn't meditate for a week. So then I'd have to go back to like 5-minute meditations. But yeah, anyways, all that to say, I knew the importance of grounding. And then the second question that you said, can you remind me of it?
Yeah, hold on. I want to touch on that for a second because I think that it's really, really like such an important lesson. And it's actually something that I have learned about myself. Like I think I knew this, but like sometimes we need those like shock situations to realize. And I'm like my love language is definitely quality time. And that first person that I have to give quality time to is myself. Like yes, the partner has to, like Andrew has learned that like, if I don't get it, I'm not going to be like probably the partner that he wants me to be. But I realized it's actually even more important to have it with myself. Like, and that's what those mornings do for me as well. Like, and I will skip them every so often. And then I'll be like, why do I feel so funky today? Like, I do not normally feel like this. And then it's like, oh, because like the one thing that like totally makes me feel like I can take on the day is that short practice of, my, like for me, it's journaling, meditation, journaling again, like usually like pull an oracle card for the day and then just like sit and have my coffee, like, and I think that that's like, it's so cool, but like you probably wouldn't have figured that out until a lot later in life if you weren't thrown into a situation that like that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? That just kind of like threw that into chaos,
Yeah, definitely like you definitely learn who you are during times of chaos, during times of struggle, like I think it's Dave Hollis or I don't know, somebody, a lot of people probably, but they always are like, when you like are in a midst of a crazy season or whatever, like you will fall back on your habits. And I'm grateful that, my habits are stronger now than they used to be. Cause they really do, like you said, make a difference when I don't start my day that way.
Yeah. And I think too, it's like, I do believe in soul contracts. I believe in that, like people come in and out of our life for a reason. And like, they're there to teach us something about ourselves. And I always used to think like that when I said that, like somebody teaches something about ourselves, like in my head, it was like, oh, like that means that I must have that within me. And that's why it triggers me. But I've learned that that's not actually true. Like somebody can teach you something about yourself and like, but it's not, it doesn't mean that you necessarily possess that quality. I mean, we all have that ability probably, but it goes kind of beyond that. Like they're there to teach us about ourselves, but it's not because we are acting exactly like they're acting or whatever it is. They're just there to kind of like bring something to the forefront and say, hey, look here.
Oh my God. Relationships are mirrors. Absolutely. That is something that I have like learned, especially in the last few years. Like, I think you're so right that, so the partner that I did van life with was not a healthy relationship, to like put it lightly. We were definitely equally toxic, I would say. Both of us just, one of us was a giver, one of us was a taker, is how I usually like to like put it. And that was a very difficult few years that like, it should have ended a lot sooner. And what's crazy is oh my God, I now am in this like super healthy, amazing, rewarding like relationship with this person that like literally I feel like I'm in a fucking fairy tale. It's insane to me. Like anyways, it blows me away that relationships are mirrors. And when I look back and I think about where I was and who I was mentally when I was with that person, like, yeah, it makes sense that I accepted so much less than I deserved for so long. Why I literally like would beg for crumbs because I was just in such a spot of feeling like absolutely unworthy, unlovable. Like I had him on a pedestal where it was like, oh my God, I can't believe someone like him likes me, little old me. And like that was just super reflected in that relationship where I held on to this idea that he was like this amazing, crazy, successful person and like built him up in my head and like built up like all the potential he had. And that just was mirrored to me of like, oh, like once we broke up, over a year ago. And I really had to do some reckoning. I really had to like dive into who I was and do some soul searching and see like, how the fuck did I get into that? How did I allow that to happen for so long? How did we get here? Like, that's not even a person I recognize now. Like, I look back and I'm just like, I just want to give her a hug. I just want to give her the biggest hug of like, I am so sorry that you thought that that was all you were worthy of and all that you deserved. Like, you were just like this infinite being. And I'm so sorry that like you felt that way, but I'm so happy that like we did go through it, I guess, because yeah, it led me to doing soul searching and healing and figuring out who I wanted to be and where like the work that needed to be had. So I guess I'm in a better spot for it now. That's for sure.
Yeah. And like when we're in the midst of it, it feels like we can't see it a lot of times. And like, that's okay. But the reality is if you wouldn't have gone through that, you would have just ended up in another relationship like that. Right. And so like, this is where cycles of behavior come from and why like people go from one relationship that's one thing and then right into another one that's ends up being the exact same thing, even if it's like a slightly different version, because they still haven't actually gotten to the root cause of not feeling worthy of something better. Right. And like we all go through that. Like I used to, and you hear it all the time, right? Like how often are you in a relation? I mean, this used to happen to me all the time, is that people would be like, oh, like your friends, your family, like, oh, you're so lucky to have a guy like him. You're so lucky to have him. And like we hear that all the time. And so then we start to believe, wow, I must really be lucky to have this person. And then it's like, can we like, let's back up the truck for a second because like he is equally as lucky to have me. Right. But we don't, like women especially don't see themselves in that light. And men don't go around going like, I mean, some might, but they're like, oh, dude, like you're lucky to have that one. Like, like it just like, it doesn't get said as much and especially like in front of people. And so I think that you start to think that like, oh, like I am lucky. So I better not let this one go or deserve or like want to be treated better than I'm being treated because I am so lucky. Like he is so handsome and he's got this great job and, he's this and he's that. And like, I must be the lucky one. And it's just like, ladies, if you believe that, take a step back because again, it needs to go both ways. Like it has to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like right now, the guy that I'm seeing, like we talk all the time about how we're equally impressed with each other and how we equally both think that we're like, we each have the better end of the deal. And it's just like this really cute. It's just really cute to be in that headspace of like, no, I'm the lucky one. Like, no, I'm the lucky one. Like, it's very much like back and forth. But yeah, because you're right. Like, it should be both ways. You don't necessarily like, yeah, you shouldn't feel like the luckiest person and like the other person's like, oh, whatever. Like, she's great. Like, it definitely should be like an equal exchange of being impressed and like just respecting that other person.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot of it. It's the respect, right? And it's the learning about one another. Like, it's even like simple things, it's funny. I just started diving into like the 5 love languages. I've always known about them, but never really like played with them. And, it's just been really fascinating. Like, I just find it so fun. Like, I mean, Andrew and I we're going to be married for 12 years this year. And like, we've been together for 15 ish. Like we're getting to that point where I'm like, has it been longer than I'm like half of my life yet?
Right.
But we're always still like pushing to learn about ourselves, but also pushing to learn about one another. And it's just a constant, it can be super fun. Like, I think relationships 1000% take work, but I don't think that they have to be a challenge. Like, I think that they can be fun, you know, like if both people are willing to do that. So cool. It's so fun to see, you know, I know that you may have been a little bit reluctant of talking about that, but this is why it's so like to see the contrast of like, you wouldn't know what great looks like if you didn't have shitty, you know?
Fucking for real, girl. Retweet. Like, oh my God. So grateful for, everything that's led me to the place I am now, because I can appreciate it infinitely tenfold because, it wasn't.
Yeah, there's a song by Thomas Rhett. I love it. It's called Up, and he talks about the opposites, right? Like he talks about, you can't appreciate money if you've never been broke, like, or you can't appreciate so it's essentially like, you can't appreciate the ups without the downs. And I think that we get, we always look at the downs and we're like, just erase it. But it's like, no, like that is what led us to be able to see the beauty in, everything else. So love it. Thank you for being so open and vulnerable about that situation, because, it's definitely, I know somebody's going to resonate with that for sure. So one thing, and I've only known you for a short period, but like that I've always admired about you is that you always give yourself permission to change your mind. Like, where do you think that comes from?
Oh, well, first off, thank you. That's like such a lovely thing to hear. I think like, oh my gosh, that's such a good question. Where does that come from? I think that, when I kind of like to say I started this whole journey of entrepreneurship, or, this journey of life. I feel like it started when I graduated college, because that was the first time that like everyone in my life was like immediately jumping into like the corporate world. And I was just like very confused. Like, I remember being like, I don't understand like why we're like 21, 22, and we're immediately jumping into like PTO and cubicle life. And like, guys, we're so young. Like, I don't understand, like, cool, you guys do that, but like, I feel like I have to do something different. And I think that like that decision really propelled me into like this amazing, beautiful life that I have now. And like moving to Europe and starting a business and backpacking South America, everything like happened because of, kind of that first decision of going against the grain. And so I think that like, because that like shaped me into like, oh, I had this feeling inside of me that I need to do this thing. And that thing ended up completely changing the trajectory of my life, completely led me to like the person I am now, the opportunities I have, the people in my life. And so I think that at the end of the day, like, you are the person in the driver's seat, and you don't need to relinquish control of that, in my opinion, to like anybody else. I think it's amazing to like ask people for advice, or to, see like bounce ideas off, brainstorm. But like at the end of the day, you are the person that is living your life. Like, you don't need to outsource decisions or outsource, like, if you have something in your heart that's like really calling you and you feel like you need to do that, then do that. And sometimes that involves changing your mind. And I think that I'm just someone that has really worked hard to be in tune with like intuition. And like, when I have this little feeling, it's like, oh, I know this feeling. I've experienced this feeling before. This feeling is probably worth listening to because of all the other places it's taken me. So when I feel something and like give myself the opportunity, I follow that. And then life, is going to teach me whatever it needs to. And I trust the universe is going to unfold and show me what I need to in that decision, in that moment. And there's nothing wrong with changing your mind if it doesn't feel aligned anymore. So like right now, recently, I like am going through the kind of this transition with business where I have built this agency for the past 3 years. And the last few months, I have felt so just kind of like uninspired and stuck. And I've been just so confused because I'm like, I'm technically living the life that I've wanted to create. So like, I don't know what's up, but I think like I need a break. And so, yeah, I reached out to you. I reached out to all my friends and I was like, hey, like, I think I'm going to go try to work for someone else for a little bit. And thankfully, like everyone was on my side and supportive, but I wasn't like really scared what people thought because I was like, this feels good. This feels good to me. This feels aligned. And I'm going to pursue that and maybe we'll see how it plays out. And what was amazing was like now I'm a month later, I've done some soul searching. I've like gone back to the drawing board and I'm like, oh, wait, actually, I don't think I want to work for someone else. I think I actually just need to like figure out and change some energy shifts in my business. And since doing that, now my business is, oh my God, doing so good. But I think that like giving myself the opportunity to change my mind and not being so worried about the outcome, I think that that now has led me to an even better spot than I was before. So I think changing your mind, like at the end of the day, it's all about how you feel. Like, I think a lot of people probably have some fear about changing your mind and what will people think. And I think that's probably a big reason, at least for me, it's a big reason of why sometimes I don't share when I change my mind. Cause it's like, like I don't want people to think that like I'm giving up or that like I'm wishy-washy, but like, fuck that. Like if you want to change your mind, it is your life. And here's your permission slip to do whatever feels good and aligned to you.
Oh my gosh. So many good things that could come out of that. I've been listening. If anybody is, I don't know if you listen to country. I've like referenced a lot of country songs today. I do listen to other music, but it's like Settling Down by Miranda Lambert. And I don't know if I've ever like resonated with a song more because it's all about the fact that like, I can be this person or this person. Like, and I can, like I'm okay with a picket fence as long as it goes around the entire world. Like I'm okay, like I'm a homebody, but I'm also like very much like love a sense of adventure. And I think that not putting yourself in that box and giving yourself permission to explore different things is so important. And I know that you and I have had this conversation off air, but like we can be extremely grateful for what we have and it's not be for us. Like, and I think that that's where people get, so they keep themselves stuck because we're told to be grateful for what we have. And like, I mean, I can look at so many aspects of my life and I am beyond grateful, but that doesn't mean that it's in alignment for me anymore. And I think that that's where you have to give yourself that permission. So, and then the last thing I just think is so funny. Like, I just have to mention this because you at 21 or 22 was like, we're so young. What are you guys doing? And I remember at 21, I was like, holy shit, I'm so far behind. I don't have a career. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to college for. And so like, I went and I was like, how can I become a nurse the fastest way possible? 13 months. Okay, cool. Done. Because I was like, I'm so behind in life. Like, wow. But it's just so funny because I mean, and again, grateful for the fact that I went through that and like those experiences and different things, but like and I know that you have felt this way and you are 26 years old. I am 32. And there's people that look at us and they're like, can you shut the fuck up because you're 26 and 32? But we're like, oh my God, I'm so behind, right? Like we still get into that like imaginary timeline that we have put on ourselves of like, oh, I must be behind in life. Like, like who says that, like, it's just so funny, but I feel like it comes up often.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like, it's funny because it's one of those things that I feel like I always like give advice to and speak on of like, guys, no one is behind. You're on your own journey. You're on your own path. Like, don't worry about everyone else. And then I have days where it's like, oh my God, I should be there. Why am I not there yet? Like, I'm so hard on myself, but it's like, oh, I can give others advice, but then giving myself the same advice can, sometimes be a little bit of a struggle.
Trust me, I totally get that. And, that's just something I hope that everybody takes from this is that we are always a work in progress. And things are going to pop up. It's just that you learn and you have the tools to move through them a little bit quicker and you have a totally different, like energy and mindset to be able to say, okay, like back up the truck. Like I wasn't behind at 21 and I'm not behind now either. Like, and I just think that that's a really, really important piece of the puzzle. So this was so fun. And I have one more question that I always end with, which is, what is one lesson you feel like you are in the middle of learning at this moment?
Wow. Well, first, I'm sad this is the last question because honestly, I could talk to you for like hours.
I know. I know I have to cut myself off because I literally would accidentally make this like
3-hour long podcast.
Yeah. And like, I'm not Joe Rogan yet. So maybe one day.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. So what do I feel like I am learning right now? That was the question, right?
Yeah. Like what's the lesson that you're in the middle of at the moment?
Ooh, yeah. Damn, girl. That's a serious like introspection question.
I do nothing less, Joelle. You should know this.
I know. I shouldn't expect anything else. I love it. I have two answers. So one is I need to get finances fucking figured out. So like growing up was not taught about money. Money wasn't really talked about, like, you know, budgeting, all that fun stuff. But that's not an excuse to like not have a budget or not think about my money or think about the future. I think it's a dragon that I am continually facing and have been for the last few months of like, I visit it, I forget about it. I visit it, I forget about it. And financial literacy is, in my opinion, very important, especially as women, but it's not necessarily sexy, not necessarily fun or easy. It can be probably eventually. I hope to get there, but it's one of those other things that it's like painful to look in the mirror right now. It's painful to like face my shit and be like, you know what? All right, like, you know, these are my habits and these aren't necessarily getting me to where I want to go. So how can I like realign and figure out how to like make sure that, yeah, I'm set up for success in the future? Because I don't want to feel like this for 10, 20, 30 years. So that's my big lesson right now. Just, yeah, like really focusing on getting my finances in order and having systems that work for me so that I don't have to like stress about it or think about it as much. And the second lesson I think is life. The second lesson. Sorry for the pauses.
Don't be. Well, maybe it'll come back to you because I want to touch really quick on the finances part and just thank you for bringing that up because money in our culture, like it isn't talked about, right? Like it's one of those things you almost might as well put on the table of like, don't talk about politics, religion, and finances. Like whatever that is. I don't even, what's the other one? Government. I don't know. That's politics. See, I'm not good at that stuff, but I think that it's like, right. So clearly nothing's off the table for me because I don't even know what the things are supposed to be, but I think that finances is such a big thing. And unless you have it figured out, there's so much shame about it, right? There's so much shame that comes from it. And it is something that I hope to have more open conversations about because like not everybody has it figured out. And I would say that most people actually don't like have it figured out. And yet, but nobody talks about it because again, there's this shame of like, well, if I don't have like all of these things, like all of my ducks in a row, then I'm not as good of a person or like I'm not worthy of, you know, talking about it or this or that. And so I do love that you brought that up because it is like, Andrew and I we talk about it fairly openly, but I would say that there's still things we probably don't share with people, which we might have to change at some point. But like we used to be total avoiders. Like we thought that like if we just ignored it, it would go away when it came to our finances. And then it finally just got to a point where we're like, okay, like, and that's when we decided to hire a coach because we're just like, listen, like we're not holding ourselves accountable. Like there's got to be a different way. Right. And I always think to myself, like when things are really hard, there's got to be a different way. Mm-hmm. And you just have to go out and like figure out what that way is for you. But like life shouldn't be as hard as we make it. And if there is something in your life that you're struggling with and it just feels like we talked about cycles earlier, like you keep getting in the same cycle and it doesn't matter how much money you make or how little money you make, like you just keep ending up in the same place. Like there's a better way. Like I'm promising you that that's not how life is supposed to be. So we just have to figure out what that is for us and give ourselves. I read this actually, I pulled a card the other day and it said this, and I think it's so important. And it said, give yourself grace as you navigate new situations. And I was like, ooh, that could not have hit anymore, because for me, there's so many things that I'm actually going through right now that I've never experienced before. And like, if going after and really being intentional with your finances and your money is like something that you've never done before, give yourself some fucking grace to figure it out. Like, you doesn't have to be overnight. And this is something I was going to say the other day, when you mentioned the meditation, as like things sometimes will come together overnight, but they didn't happen overnight. And I think that is such that's such an important thing to carry with you, because you never know, like, when you're going to wake up and things are just going to, like, you're going to have the clarity. You're going to look and be like, oh my gosh, I'm not in that spot anymore. Or I've made all these changes in my life, or I've totally transformed this part of me. But it didn't happen overnight. It happened over a long period of like sticking with it. And so, yeah, just give yourself grace as you navigate something new.
Yeah. Thank you. And you're so right that I like that you said that there are things that, I don't know how you word it, but basically like there are things that feel like they happen overnight, but like overall, usually it is like a long process. And I completely agree with that and definitely feel that way right now. And I know that like the small little baby steps I'm taking are better than like none of the steps that I was taking before. So at least, headed towards the right direction, giving myself grace, and definitely excited to see like what all comes of it, because I just remembered the other thing that life lesson right now is that like there is nothing that is too good for me. And when I say that, I'm saying like the wildest dreams I have, the life that I've always envisioned myself having, that like always seems so far off, always seemed like I could never get there. Like everyone else had that life. I could never have it. I feel like I'm stepping into this new version of like receiving. And I've always been very much someone who wants to give and give and give and give. But something that you even taught me is receiving is just as important as giving, if not more important, because if you can't receive, then life's going to be a lot harder, I think. So I'm right now in this phase of just feeling like I've put in a lot of work, and it's amazing to see, like, I do see progress in a lot of areas of my life, but then it's interesting, like, also new levels, new devils, as like Lori Harder says, and like other people. But yeah, then like other things like pop up that I'm like, oh, okay, this is a new thing that like I didn't think about before, or this is a trigger that I hadn't thought I had, or I need to revisit, or is still there and I thought I like overcame it. I think that like healing is linear. But anyways, all this to say, healing is not linear. All this to say that like it's okay to want a great life, and it's okay to want to like have good things, and the life that like you envision for yourself that is possible, that is out there. I think 100% like it is, but you also need to believe that you can receive it and that you're worthy of it. And for so long, I have thought that I wasn't worthy, and that I didn't need to receive, and that I didn't need help, and that I was, going to end up with an okay life. But now I am just like, no, I think I really want a great life, and I think that I'm worthy of that, and that I deserve that. And so like having higher standards, and it's a beautiful, like, I think it's a good lesson. It's a good lesson, and it's a good reminder from the universe of like, hey, like we got you, and we love that you're seeing how great you are, and like here's some more gifts, and here's some more things. And like, yeah, I just want to remind people, hopefully, that it's never too late to receive. It's never too late to like go after the life that you feel like you've always been able to have. And um yeah, I wish that for everyone because
Mm.
life is too short to like, yeah, life is too short.
I know, right? And it's so good. And thank you. And you and me both. Like, if I wish that for everybody, that people could truly realize that like there is no limit to what you can do. And I don't know if I've shared this on the podcast or not, or even shared it with you, but and I might totally slaughter this, but I think it's in like the Native American cultures, like they and like in with the indigenous, there is no word, there's no translation for imagination, because they believe that if you can like dream it, then it can be yours. Like there's no like, if you can visualize it, then it can happen. And so I think that's like a really, really beautiful thing. So thank you for that reminder to all of us to dream bigger, and that it might take some work to realize that you are worthy, but you are 1,000 and million% worthy of having that life that you desire. And it might not happen overnight, but every step that you take, every small step in that direction is going to end up getting you there. Where one day you're going to wake up and be like, holy shit, this is what I wanted. So
Yeah.
thank you for that, Joelle. And thank you for being here. Please, I want everybody to be able to connect with you, because Joelle is obviously a kick-ass person, but she also is an amazing web designer. She has an amazing company that I would love people to just connect with you over whatever it was that, resonated with them today. So how can people find you?
Yes, I am like almost entirely on Insta. I love Insta. I'm still holding on to it with dear life. I know that like people hate it and that it's, maybe dying, but I love it. So you can find Dope Magic. So that's my company, Dope Magic Co. on Instagram for like web design and just like inspiration, entrepreneur, like good stuff. And then my personal Instagram is a little more just like fun and like fully unfiltered who I am. And that is Joelle Riding. And then websites as well. I'm sure that Stacey will put it in the show notes. But yeah, come hang out, come say hi. If you listen to this podcast, I would love to connect with you. I'm always like just so excited to connect. And one reason I do love Instagram so much is like I've literally made some of my lifelong friends through this app. So yeah, if you listen to this and it connected with you, please like shoot me a message. I'd love to connect with you. And Stacey, thank you so much for having me on and for like just creating space for such an amazing conversation.
Oh, thank you, Joelle, for coming on and just being vulnerable and allowing yourself to open up to the listeners. And I just cannot thank you enough for your friendship and for being here with us today. So thank you. And for everybody listening, make sure that you go and connect with Joelle. She doesn't say that because she has to. So thanks again, Joelle. Welcome to the Evolve Beyond Limits podcast post show, where you get to just hear a little reflection from me. So after Joelle's episode, I was sitting here thinking, and one of the things that she brought up kind of inadvertently was this whole idea of feeling like you're behind, right? And I talked about that a little bit on the show, but there's this thing that nobody talks about that people go through that I think needs to be brought to your attention. And it's the quarter life crisis, right? We talk about the midlife crisis that happens for people, but there's this quarter life crisis that I went through and I've watched people go through. And it usually happens between this of like anywhere between like 26 and I would say 35, maybe even a little bit before that. But you have done the thing, right? We spend so much of our life chasing the next thing, chasing the next achievement where, we go to school, we then are told to go to college, we go to college and then we chase the job that we want. And then we do that. And then once we're done with that, we want the relationship, right? And then we don't just want the relationship, then we want the engagement, then we want the wedding. And then we want to celebrate the next thing, which is bringing a child into the world. And then we want, to buy the house. I'm sure that there's, I got that order out of whack, but it doesn't really matter. My point is there comes a time when you're sitting there in your job, looking around at life and saying, is this what I want? And it usually happens when all of a sudden you have gotten to a spot where you have maybe fulfilled a lot of the things that you were wanting. You chased all the things and then you got them. And now there's maybe nothing to quote unquote look forward to. Or you got your job, and this job that you're supposed to love and stay at for 30 years. And a few years in, you're like, is this even what I want to do? Right. And then it's throws you into this spiral of this quarter life crisis because you have spent all of this money, you've spent all this time creating something, creating a life that you're like, oh shit, maybe this isn't actually what I want, but I can't start over. I hear this so much. I can't just start over. I can't do something different. I can't choose to live in a different way because like I've already spent all of this money, or I've already spent all of this time, and I don't want that to be a waste. Well, if you've ever felt like this, like I want you to know that that feeling that you had at that moment is never going to go away. It's going to keep coming back because you're not doing like it might be time for you to change your mind. It might be that your life just isn't in alignment with what it's supposed to be. And again, going back to the fact that we can be extremely grateful for what we have and it not be for us any longer, or there can be a different version of what that looks like, but you're never going to get there if you just keep avoiding it, if you just keep ignoring it, because the feeling will keep coming back. It's never going away until you decide to do something about it. And this is where life starts to become really hard, right? It's because we are really pushing away that gut feeling that maybe we need to be doing something else. Maybe we need to be exploring. And, I don't like all or nothing scenarios. Nothing has to be that way. We don't have to go all in or go all out on things. But you do have to start taking, like, what is one simple step that you could take to start to bring your life back into a place where it does feel more in alignment. Maybe you have no idea what that even looks like for you. Maybe it's just a few experiments of trying to figure out what makes you happy, what you enjoy doing, what gives you energy, doing some of that soul searching that Joelle talked about. And I just think it's a really important thing to realize that because I watch it happen all the time, but it's just not talked about. So today on this episode, I just want to, and I know that Joelle already did this, but I want to do this again, give you permission to change your mind, because you have it, like just listening to that and giving yourself that space will more than likely take life into a more beautiful place than you could have ever have imagined that you were going to go. All right. Thank you so much for being here on the podcast. I am beyond grateful for every single one of you that listen and take the time to share this podcast with somebody who might need to hear it. And also, I would love to connect with you more. You can text me at 248-206-3431 you can text journal 2021 and you will get journal prompts a few times a week, drop straight to your phone. We can connect on there. I want to hear how you're using the things of this podcast to really change your life and impact your life, because it's not just enough to have the knowledge, right? It is knowledge in action is where wisdom comes from. So how are you going to use something that you took from this podcast and change your life today? All right. Think about that. I look forward to connecting with you more. Make sure if you haven't done it yet that you take some time to book a white light session with me. It is the first thing that I love to do with every single person so that we can really get a great understanding of like who you are, where it is you want to go, what might be getting in your way, and just help to steer you in the right direction. So I look forward to connecting with you on that. And I will talk to you on the next episode. And until then, keep evolving.